Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, D3 Topics Gaming here to share with you another one of my worst best tier list style ranking videos to share with you guys today. And this time I thought it would be actually really cool now that I actually finished platinuming Astrobot, which I cannot wait to get my review of that out after I get this video out. And I thought it would be cool if, because that game is such a call to just all things PlayStation, I thought it would be a cool idea if I actually did a breakdown tier list ranking of all the primary well-known PlayStation exclusive franchises that we currently have. So that's what we'll be doing for this particular video. So if you do happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to track me on my future videos. And remember, if any of you guys have any ideas for future rankings, tops and list videos, just discussion videos in general, please let me know what you would like to see and I will try to get it up as soon as I can. Now, PlayStation. It has been going for a very long time, and there are a lot of awesome franchises, including franchises that I'm not too familiar with. So this is like one of the better tier lists that I was able to find online. It's a little odd in terms of how it's actually broken down. But yeah, I think this is a good amount. So I decided to just kind of keep my rankings just grade level, just to keep it simple with the S, A, B, C, D, and either I don't know what this is or I didn't play it, so I think we should start off by knocking off those ones first. Let's see, Ape Escape, Buzz, I think this is Dream, which I'm not too familiar with that one, so we'll put that one there. I'm not really big fan of golf. What's this one? Okay, I think it's Horizon, and it's Infamous. I have no idea what this is. Knack, Medieval. I'm not much of a MLB The Show fan. I do believe that is. I'm not familiar with this one either. Or PlayStation Move Heroes. Not familiar with that. Sly, Soulcom, Spider-Man. This one was weird that I saw this. Sunset Overdrive. Isn't that Xbox? That should be Xbox. And I don't know what this one is or Wonder Boy. So I know some people would say, well, you should go back and play some of these before doing this rankings, but I think that's a solid number in terms of where I would put it. So let's get started. First on the list, Ape Escape. I think it's pretty average. I mean, I would put it in the C tier. And it's something I only played like maybe a few times, but it wasn't something I felt like I need to go back and replay. And so it's just somewhat average. Astrobot. I cannot wait to get my review of this out, but all I'll say is that it ended up actually being a game that I predicted what was ended up happening, because when I first saw Astrobot, it didn't look like much, and then somehow it wins Game of the Year, and then I get my hands on a copy of it, and then I go into it thinking, oh, this is just gonna be some silly, stupid game, and then the more I play it, something happened and I absolutely fell in love with it to the point where I just couldn't stop playing until I platinumed it. So I have to put it in A tier. A high A tier, but heck, I cannot wait to get my review out. In fact, it's not only high on this list, it's high on another list, which some of you will be sure to find out. Next, ATV Off-Road Fury. Believe it or not, this franchise was actually in a bundle pack for my very first PlayStation 2 game. It came with Ratchet and Clank and ATV Off-Road Fury 1. I didn't play the second one, but I did have a lot of fun with the first one. So I think I will put that in the B tier. Bloodborne. I don't like Bloodborne. I don't like Soul style. Like, I really am not a fan of Soul style games that are like they're frustratingly hard to the point where you want to quit. Like, there's different types of frustration. There's like frustrating that makes you want to get better and progress, and then there's like Souls games that are like frustrating and make you want to question your life and just go on to another game, and that's where Bloodborne works. Like, I played the game for like an hour, I died like 20 times, I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. So that's where Bloodborne is. I know a lot of people love Bloodborne, but it's not my type of game. Buzz. This is also pretty low, but I mean, this is one of those games I remember playing with like a group of us friends, but like only a few times when we were bored. But I haven't played this in a very, very long time, but yeah, I'm familiar with that. Days Gone. Days Gone is there needs to be a second one. That game is great. Had a great concept. Deacon is an awesome character. In fact, here's something that a lot of people don't know about me and Days Gone. Days Gone is the reason I actually started wearing hats in my videos, and specifically flex fit hats. Like, Deacon has like, I don't like wearing hats that have like pads that like can be adjusted. So I like flex fit. So if you ever go back to my channel, if you look at any video I did before Days Gone, I'm like, you can see my head like as it is now. But after I got Days Gone, from that point on, I ended up buying like a bunch of these. So like all my PlayStation hats are like, they're flex fit. So and I typically like to wear my hats like this. So yeah, that Days Gone not only I think should get a sequel and should come back in a good way, but it's the reason why heck I wear my hats the way I do. Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, that's awesome. Great. That was a fantastic game. I would consider it to be the last of the great PlayStation 4 era games. And I'm looking forward to the sequel. A lot of people aren't, but heck, I'm willing to give that sequel a chance because heck, you know, I trust Sucker Punch, and I'm hoping that they will not screw this up because they have a good thing going. God of War. Well, obviously God of War is S tier. God of War could possibly be the single greatest PlayStation franchise of all time, as it has, out of all of the ones that I would put in S tier, it probably has the longest lifespan, as it started in the PlayStation 2, got better in PlayStation 3, continued in PlayStation 4, and I don't count Ragnarok a true 5, but it's more like a hybrid between 4 and 5, but it's a good game that bridges the gap between the two generations, and to have 2 entries in its franchise be my top 10 out of 10 list, this collection is a massive achievement. So yeah, God of War is definitely S tier. Heavenly Sword, I would put Heavenly Sword in B. It was like a one-hit wonder. They never made a sequel after that, but I think it could have. But yeah, I did think the concept that the sword was kind of hurting the main character was an interesting concept, and visually it kind of reminded me of God of War, but like with a better like artistic style. So that's where I would put it. I believe this is Gran Turismo. Gotta admit, I'm not a big fan of Gran Turismo. I'm a bigger, you know what, I would actually put Gran Turismo ahead of Bloodborne. I mean, I've played a few Gran Turismos, but I'm a bigger fan of racing games, not racing simulators. And that's what Gran Turismo always felt to me. It always felt like it was a simulator and not a racing game. So, Horizon Zero Dawn, one of the newer franchises, but I would put it here. Definitely great franchise. Really like Zero Dawn. Really like Forbidden West, although Aloy does become a lot unlikable in the second game, and I'm really curious to see where they go with the third game. But yeah, I think when all things are said and done, this is easily Guerrilla's best franchise. I would definitely pick Horizon over Killzone. But yeah, and heck, the fact that they made like a Lego game for that is really telling. And they're making a movie. So that even says even more with how much popular this franchise is. And it has a great female protagonist who's not just a great female protagonist, but I think is a great protagonist on her own, apart from some moments in the second game. But yeah, I would still count it as easily one of the best PlayStation franchises to date. Next, we have Infamous. Ooh, this is a good one. It's definitely A tier. You know what? I would put Infamous over Horizon. I think the first game is fantastic for its story. I think Cole McGrath is an awesome character, with its ending easily being probably one of the greatest twists in any video game, period. I'm not going to spoil it here for those who haven't played it, but it was a great twist. I think the second game was even better. They had a great DLC style vampire game version of it for Cole for the second game, which I thought was great. And then when we got to her Infamous Second Son, I thought Delson was also a great character, and that also expanded into another DLC game with Fetch. So yeah, I would say Infamous is, yeah, it's easily one of the top franchises. Obviously, they've Sucker Punch just moved away from it, going into Ghost. I don't think we will come back to Infamous anytime soon. But yeah, as it stands right now, yeah, you get like 5 very solid games, 3 solid games, 2 DLC style games that are great on their own. So yeah, overall 5 games in total. Yeah, you got a great franchise. Jak and Daxter. I'm gonna admit, I know Jak and Daxter is one of the big hitters, but I was not the biggest Jak and Daxter fan. I was more of a Ratchet and Clank fan, but I do recognize that Jak and Daxter, I don't even think they've made a Jak and Daxter since like 2009, so like, not sure if that'll make a return, but you know, it's a solid franchise, but I'm not the biggest fan, but I do acknowledge that it made its mark on PlayStation. Next is Killzone. Oh, Killzone, where would I put Killzone? You know what, I think I'd put Killzone in A2, Question is, where would I put it? Days Gone. Do I put it over Astro? I'll put a Killzone there. It's a dead franchise. It's been retired. You got a number of great games. You got Killzone. You got a Killzone on PSP. You got a Killzone on PlayStation Vita. You had Killzones 2, which is easily one of the best shooters I've ever played. Killzone 3 went to the next level. And then Killzone 4, Shadowfall, was a release title for the PlayStation 4. And that was the first game I ever played for the PlayStation 4. So that really holds its title there. So yeah, I just wish it had a better ending. I mean, if Killzone Shadowfall was like the last game, or if it wasn't, I think there was like Mercenaries. I think like Killzone Mercenaries, something like that for the Vita. I just wish it had a better ending. So that's why I would put that there. Knack. Knack could have been something, but it was also a release title for the PlayStation 4. Could have been better. Interesting concept, as Knack would like absorb like these little balls that would make him bigger, and every time he got hit, he would get smaller. Interesting concept, but they didn't really go far with that one, so I would have to put it there. Little Big Planet. I would easily put Little Big Planet as a top B. Cute sock boy, cute character. I liked him. I had a lot more fun in the first game than the second game, and I say a sock boy as a character, he's kind of iconic. Put it like this: I would say Sock Boy is like a lower version of what Astro Boy is. I think Astro Boy is like a better version of Sock Boy, so that's where I put it. Medieval. I gotta put Medieval like somewhere down here. It's okay, but it didn't have much legs. Motorsport, kind of almost like a lesser version of ATV. It was fun, but it wasn't as fun as ATV, but it had its moments. Ooh, Papa Rappa the Rapper. Oh, he's iconic. Oh, yeah, I would definitely. He's top of the B. I would say that was probably one of the first rhythm games I ever actually played, long before DDR. The rapping wasn't always great at times, but yeah, sometimes you gotta believe in that. to see him kind of come back in a few little projects, I thought was great. So that's where I put it. PlayStation All-Star. I will put it at the top of B, simply because PlayStation All-Star, great concept. It's as close to PlayStation trying to make a Smash Brothers games of their own character. They certainly had enough characters to work with, and I would be open for a second one. But I just think that it's combat, because they would have been better just being a carbon copy of Smash Brothers than what they actually did, in terms of how the combat and the knockouts work. I would have felt more comfortable if it had just been a copy, just a PlayStation version of Smash, because they added a couple things that try to make it different, but those differences made it a lot less fun than to play a Smash game. So that's where I would put that. But I definitely think of a whole new, like 2 new generations of PlayStation games. You could definitely make a second one, and I think it could even be better. Ratchet and Clank. Oh, easily Ratchet and Clank is one of the top ones. Easily. Question is how high. I would easily. You know what? I'm gonna put it S tier. That probably has even more legs than God of War. That also started in the PlayStation 2, went into PlayStation 3, continued in PlayStation 4, and continued in PlayStation 5. In fact, I would say Ratchet and Clank, the recent one, I think it's called Rift Apart, was probably one of the first truly great PlayStation 5 games that came out. So, yeah. And heck, it also had a solid movie that a lot of people forget about, but heck, I enjoy it. Next, Resistance: Fall of Man. This is a franchise. It's an A tier, but I would put it above Killzone. I like Resistance more than Killzone. But I think the primary difference between Resistance and Killzone is I think Resistance had a much better ending. It had 3 solid games, 2 games on portable, and I think that the 3rd installment had a much better solid conclusion than Killzone and Shadowfall. Shadowfall kind of left out on like a cliff, like a somewhat odd ending, while Resistance 3 actually had a definitive ending that I felt like, okay, the franchise can end and it doesn't need to go forward. And that's really hard to do for a lot of franchises, because you want to milk it. But I felt like Resistance had its period in time within the PlayStation period. Would I like to see them re-release it and play it again? Absolutely, but it's a solid first-person shooter franchise. And I say that with Resistance and Killzone both being retired, I think PlayStation absolutely needs another first-person shooter franchise. Absolutely. Next is Sly. Kind of like Jack and Dexter. Not the biggest Sly fan, but I would put it over Jack. I would probably put Sly here. And remember when they were trying to make a movie? Like, they had a trailer, but that movie never came out, so that is unfortunate. But I do think Sly is pretty good, but just, he's not quite Ratchet and Clank good. Solcom, U.S. Navy SEALs. I'm gonna put this low, because I only played the first one, and I thought it was just okay, but I never played the other one, so it was kind of like a one-hit wonder. It's like, okay, this is kind of fun, but like, I don't need to play any more installments of this. Next, Spider-Man. God, I have no idea how long this is gonna go, but I'm really conflicted about this because Marvel Spider-Man is easily the best comic book video game I've ever played. But then you have Miles Morales, which is okay, but I hate Miles because he's too OP. And then the direction they went with Spider-Man 2 pissed me off so much that I quit the game maybe like 6 hours in because I saw the direction they were going. I didn't like it at all, and I ended up quitting. And whatever they decided to do in Marvel Spider-Man 3, I'm not even gonna play it. Like, that's how much Spider-Man 2 pissed me off. I did not like the direction that they were going, and it was clearly obvious. And I hate how they changed his look to make him look like Tom Holland. I was like, why did they even bother changing the look? So I'm conflicted. You have like one awesome game, one game that's mixed, one game that pissed you off so much you don't even want to play anymore. So you know what, for that, I gotta put it at the top of B. I think it'll hold the top B spot. Like, man, if they had just fixed that second game, at least for me, and just not changed the look of Peter, I think it could. It had the potential to be an S tier, but yeah. Siphon Filter, I gotta put this at the top of C. It was okay, but yeah. Ugh, Last of Us. I wonder how many people are gonna want to kill me for this one, but I'm putting this. Ugh. I guess the middle of C. Now here's the issue with The Last of Us. I thought Last of Us was an okay game. And this is the only game that I've ever done where I did a review for this and I like felt the total toxic wrath of PlayStation fans. It was the first time I'd ever experienced it. I think The Last of Us is a solid game, but there's nothing about it that I thought was extraordinary. I thought its gameplay was very, very simple. I thought its story was very, very The Last of Us, without question, has the most predictable story ever. Anyone who thinks that The Last of Us, at least the first game, has an extraordinary story has either not seen enough movies, not read enough books, or has not seen the movie The Road. There was nothing about that plot that was amazing. I could predict everything that was going to happen up until the point where Ellie went psycho on that rapist. Other than that, it was very, very predictable. But I thought it was a good game, and apparently that was enough to piss people off. And I didn't even want to bother with the second game. So because of that, it's got to sit in the C tier. Next, Twisted Metal. Ooh, definitely a high B tier. I definitely had a lot of fun playing with Twisted Metal from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. They need to bring that back. I don't know why people didn't like it on PlayStation 3. It was a pretty solid game. So, yeah, I would be totally fine if Twisted Metal made a comeback. Next, Uncharted. Uncharted is one of the heavy hitters. It's definitely a C tier. Hopefully they don't bring it back because I think how it ended was great. All their games have been fantastic. It started on the PlayStation 3, continued, it's one of its entries is in the top 10 out of 10 game list, so it's got to hold. But I'm afraid they're going to try to bring it back and they'll end up messing it up, so I hope they don't do that. And the last game on this list is Warhawk. I'm going to put Warhawk, you know what, I'm actually going to put it at the top of B. Very fun game. I love its direction, art style, gameplay style. It was just a fun game. It could have been bigger, but I think with what they did with its primary installment, I thought it was fine. So that is my breakdown of the vast majority of exclusive PlayStation franchises. If there's any on here that you know that I missed, please let me know what you want me to rank, and I'll let you know where I would put it on my list. But this is how I would do it. But heck, how would you guys rank them? Share your ranking with me and everyone else in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.